What's going on? I'm Rich DeMiro, and welcome to Rich on Tech Weekly. Well, I hope you're having a fantastic week. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining me here on the show. This week, I headed to New York City for just a quick 48-hour trip. I was there for Apple's Experience. Do not confuse this with an Apple event. They call this an Apple Experience. They did them in 3 cities across the world, New York, London, and Shanghai. I did not have my pick. I would have probably gone to Shanghai. That would have been pretty cool. But here's the deal with Apple. They're so secretive. They told everyone that they invited, do not tell anyone where this is. So I walked around the block no less than 15 minutes trying to find this place because there was no signs. There was nothing. And so finally, once I got in, it was like, the whole Apple setup. I mean, they really transformed this place. It looked like an Apple store. And they had a little kind of keynote first off, and then they let us all into this back room that had all the Apple products, all the new stuff to check out. One quick New York side note, by the way. I found a hotel room near Times Square for, get this, under $200 a night. How did I do that? I will tell you about that later in the show. I am so proud of myself for that one. So what do we get? Apple updated a bunch of products this week. The MacBook Air, which I have in my cart right now, the MacBook Pro, the iPhone 17e. But the one that I'm going to talk about right now that really is just a game changer is this MacBook Neo. Apple has gotten everything right with this. Well, that's debatable, but they got a lot right with this, especially the price. $599. Wait, what? Hold on, let me get up. I just fell off my chair. $599 for an Apple MacBook computer. $499 if you qualify for education pricing, and a lot of people do. Teachers, students, all that good stuff. So Apple is going directly after Chromebooks and after cheap Windows laptops in a way that I've never seen before. This is the most affordable MacBook that Apple has ever sold. And I think the attention this laptop is getting, the pre-orders it's getting, this thing is going to be off the charts. Why? Because it's exactly what people need. It's not the fanciest, it's not the highest powered machine, but you know if you need a MacBook Air, or if you need a MacBook Pro, or if you need a high-end desktop computer, a gaming PC. No, this is for everyone else. Everyone who just says, I need a computer. And I say, well, what do you want to do on that computer? I don't know, surf the web, watch videos, do my email. Okay, fine, MacBook Neo. That's perfect. Now, Apple is powering this computer with an A18 Pro chip inside. That is a chip that previously powered an iPhone. Wait, what? An iPhone chip in a laptop. Yes, it makes a ton of sense because think about it. Think about how people are using their iPhone. They're already doing everything on their phone. They're doing emails, all the stuff I just mentioned. Emails, watching videos, editing photos, recording things. I mean, this is basically a glorified iPhone that has a bigger screen and a keyboard. Who doesn't want that? You get more space and a trackpad, of course. All right, so spec-wise, if you're comparing this and you're saying, Rich, okay, well, tell me the specs. It's probably not that good for that price. I mean, it's stuff that's been proven. You get a 13-inch screen. You get 16 hours of battery life. You get a 1080p camera. Okay, fine, not the best. Dual mics, dual speakers that, by the way, support spatial audio, 2 USB-C ports, a headphone jack, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and it runs the full Mac OS. What does that mean? That means that unlike a Chromebook where you're limited to pretty much web apps, this is a real Mac. If you want to put Final Cut Pro on this thing, you can. Now, I don't know if it supports those specs, but the point is you can install real apps on this thing. And people are going to do that. They're going to put the apps that they want on here. And if you have an iPhone, which a lot of people coming to this probably will, you're going to get that magic of how Apple, one of my favorite things is you copy something on your computer, you paste it on your iPhone. Simple. All that stuff that you can do. iPhone mirroring, handoff, text messages. Now, this is an inexpensive computer. By I guess most standards for laptops, but they did not make this thing feel cheap. It feels very Apple-y, in fact. It's aluminum, it's lightweight, under 3 pounds, comes in 4 fun colors, of course, indigo, blush, silver, and citrus. And it's different than most budget laptops. When people ask me for a budget laptop, I cringe at what I'm about to recommend them because it's bulky, it's ugly, it just doesn't look or feel nice. This one's also fanless. Think about this as almost like an iPad with a keyboard. Almost like an iPhone, iPad, keyboard machine. That's really what it is. There's no touch screen. That's the first thing I did when I put my hands on this machine. I went to touch the screen, and the person at Apple's like, no, it's not a touch screen. I'm like, oh, can I not touch it, or is it not touch screen? They're like, no, just don't touch it. It's not a touch screen. And yes, there are compromises. It only comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Which means nothing to a lot of people, but in the tech world, you probably want closer to 16 for a proper laptop, 256 gigs of storage, and if you want more storage or a fingerprint sensor, you have to pay extra. That's $100 extra. That'll double your storage, but you still have to get locked into that 8 gigs of memory, that RAM. So what does that mean? It means that, if you're trying to have 15,000 apps all open at the same time, it may not perform that well. But in my testing, when I went hands-on, I had a bunch of stuff open. I did a bunch of stuff on this computer, and it was fine. There was one tiny little hesitation when I opened up a big giant file, but that's to be expected. But for most people, again, this is going to be perfectly fine. So any of the early criticism that people say, oh, well, it doesn't have this premium feature. Where's the backlit keyboard? Where's the faster chip? Where's more RAM? Doesn't matter. My mom does not know what more RAM is. She's going to try this thing and say, oh, this works great. This is perfect. I love this thing. Apple's not trying to win the spec sheet war here. It's trying to win the recommendation war from people like me. And every single tech person that I've seen pretty much agrees that this is going to be the best answer for people when they say, I just need a basic computer. That's all I need. This is going to be for a lot of people. Now, on the Windows side, I think there's two sides to the effect here. Number one, with the Windows computers, they're going to see sales drop because people are going to start recommending this Mac computer for an inexpensive everyday computer. On the good side of things, it's going to force Windows manufacturers to do things better, to stop shipping PCs that are sluggish, junky software, pop-ups, hey, install this, do that, hardware that's just not very good. And for Chromebooks, this is going to give them a run for their money because, let's be real, a lot of these students that have Chromebooks, they know they're cheap. They cost, $150, $200, and they don't feel very good. Now, schools will probably continue using them because they can, keep them under wrap and, they can lock them down and there's not much students can do on them. But this might put the MacBook back in classrooms in a bigger way. So bottom line, I think Apple is going to sell a ton of these things. Again, it's called the MacBook Neo. It's available March 11th. And I think it's going to be one of Apple's most popular computers for just about anyone who wants a simple computer that is high quality and lasts. Now, I did post about this on my Facebook page. I got hundreds of comments. People love the price. People see it as a student or education machine. People see it as a great, best computer. Basic computer, email, browsing, Zoom, writing papers. That 8 gigabytes of RAM, if you know that, that's where people had the biggest issue. They said, Thomas said, that 8 gigs of RAM, though. Christian said, my iPad Pro is still more powerful. And Jason said he's worried about software compatibility. But as far as I can tell, you can install a lot of software on this thing. What else? Did I have more? Oh, yeah, a lot of people compared it to the iPad. Andrew said, feels like they took an iPad and added a keyboard. And that's the wild thing here. If you get one of these Apple Magic keyboards, a Magic keyboard for an iPad starts at $250. So basically, if you're a student, for another $250, you get a whole computer. That's wild. Sean says they should have let iPad Pro run Mac OS. I don't know about that. And Windows users say, you know what? I think I might switch to a Mac. We're going to see a lot of people switch to Mac because of this. All right, if you want to learn more about that, go to my website, richontech.tv. I've got all my thoughts about the MacBook Neo. We'll be right back with more Rich on Tech Weekly. Welcome back to Rich on Tech Weekly. Welcome back to Rich on Tech Weekly. My name is Rich DeMuro. We are coming to you today from San Francisco, where Samsung is taking the wraps off the Galaxy S26 lineup. We've got lots of new features to check out, including a new privacy screen, plus some new AI tricks. We've got camera upgrades, both in low light photography and stabilization. Your battery is going to charge faster, plus we've got lots more. Let's go check it out. At an event in San Francisco, Samsung took the wraps off its latest flagship phones, the Galaxy S26 series. There's still an S Pen. It's completely black from the side. The biggest new feature is a privacy screen. Turn it on and people around you can't see your display from the sides.
Having a privacy film, but you can turn it on or off, that is game changer. We know how big privacy is. I love that feature.
The hardware feature uses two types of pixels: wide pixels that lets you see the screen from all angles, and narrow pixels, which are only viewable straight on.
Oh, for sure. You're like on the subway and everyone's looking at your phone, so this is going to be like next level tech.
So I come from India and we have enough and more people, so the privacy feature will actually make a huge difference.
And you can also set the conditions for turning it on. So you can choose an app that you want it to come on with, when you're putting in a password, or just when you get a certain notification pop up. This is called a vapor chamber. It helps your phone stay cool. This is the model on the S25 Ultra. This is it on the S26 Ultra. It's bigger, so your phone theoretically stays cooler longer. Another big improvement is faster charging, especially on the Ultra. The S26 Ultra now supports 60-watt wired charging, which Samsung says can get you from 0 to 75% in about 30 minutes. They do not have magnets built into the back, so if you want to use magnetic accessories like this wireless charger, the cases have the magnets. They'll snap right on. For the first time, Samsung is using AI to process selfie photos instead of a hardware-based solution. The S26 Ultra is capturing more light than ever before. The standard lens is capturing almost 50% more light, while the zoom lens is capturing almost 40% more light. That means better pictures at night. In my early tests, night photos were fast to take and look clear, crisp, and bright. Even night video seems improved, thanks to lens-specific AI-enhanced processing that reduces noise. Another new feature called Horizon Lock keeps your video steadier than ever, even while walking or moving your phone around. These new phones now have generative editing built right into the gallery, so you can edit your photos like never before with AI. So we're gonna take a picture of this cake and see if we can fill in that missing piece. We're gonna say create, and now we're just gonna describe what we wanna do, which is replace that missing piece of cake. Wow, and just like that, your cake is made whole again. One feature that's still in beta, but has a lot of potential, is this idea of agentic AI.
This is what we've wanted from phones since Google announced its first Google Assistant with the first Pixel.
Samsung pushing features that save you time. If someone texts about a dinner, AI offers a one-tap shortcut to check your calendar. If a friend asks for photos from a trip, it can pull up matching photos so you can share faster. And you'll even be able to use AI to book an Uber.
Call an Uber for me to the San Francisco airport.
Or tell it your food delivery order, and it will open the app and get things ready for you in the background.
Being able to say, I want to get pizza for dinner, garlic breadsticks for an appetizer, and have an app like Grubhub do it all for you.
AI will then notify you when it's ready for final approval.
Your phone does stuff for you now. Like, that's next level. That's what we all want. Less tasks on our to-do list, right?
There's also a new AI call assistant to cut down on spam. It can answer for you.
Please say who you are and why you're calling.
Then only ring if it seems important.
Please hold while I connect you.
And during a call, AI can flag conversations that sound like a scam. Samsung's audio eraser now works in real time inside apps, so you can boost voices and reduce background noise while you watch videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and even Netflix.
They're no longer saying, hey, this is AI. They're doing some pretty cool features like that document scanner.
So I'm gonna aim my camera at this piece of paper. I immediately see a button that says scan. So this page that's all kind of wrinkly now looks really nice. Let's add another page here. So this page is just sitting here. You can see there's a little bit missing. And if I go next, it can save this all as a PDF. Base models start at $900, $100 more than last year, but you're getting double the storage. The top of the line Ultra is $1,300. All right, there you have it, the Galaxy S26 series. I cannot wait to try out that new privacy screen feature and check out that new and improved camera. Looks like they've done some meaningful updates, especially to low light photos and AI. You can see some of the pictures I've taken on the S26 series on my website. Just go to richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro in San Francisco. More Rich on Tech Weekly coming your way right after this. We'll be right back with more Rich on Tech Weekly. Welcome back to Rich on Tech Weekly. Welcome back to Rich on Tech Weekly. My name is Rich DeMuro. We've all heard the term Google it, and for good reason. Google has excellent search results, but at this point, we all know we're being tracked, and that information is being sold to advertisers. But there is a new cottage industry of search engines that promise more privacy and less tracking. Let's take a look. Google is synonymous with search, but if you're looking for a more privacy-centric alternative, there are several options that promise little or no tracking.
Every time you go to most search engines, when you go to them and you enter a search, that search is tracked, and all the information is then turned to advertisers who are then, bidding for the top spot so they can get your attention.
DuckDuckGo is one of the most recognizable names in privacy. Their search engine doesn't track you and encrypts your searches so your internet service provider can't see them. Startpage has been focused on private search since 2006 and says it doesn't collect personal information. There's even an anonymous view that lets you visit websites without revealing your identity.
You enter a search, that search is tracked. Your browser is checked and fingerprinted so they can identify exactly who you are, where you are. They look at everything from the size of your screen to the fonts that you're using to the browser itself.
Brave might be best known for its privacy-focused web browser, but it also has a search engine with its own index of results. That means no big tech algorithm determining what you see. Swiss Cows is another private search option, and it's family-friendly, which means it filters out content that might be inappropriate for minors. You can also generate an AI summary of any search result, or open a preview of the site in an anonymous window, which displays how many trackers they find. Finally, Kagi is a premium search engine that's ad-free and promises private search.
Privacy is not just about hiding. Privacy is about, there's a basic level of human dignity that, we walk around and we're not wearing everything about us on our sleeves at all times.
Try it out with 100 searches for free or upgrade to a paid plan which starts at $5 a month. So far, they have about 65,000 members. Now, because you're paying for Kagi, you can really customize your search results. So for instance, there's an option here to sort by how many ad trackers are on a website. You can list the fewest first, or you can see the ones that have the most first. You can also click on any result, and you can tell Kagi you want to see more results from that website, less results from that website, or you can block it from your results completely.
We keep an eye on what everybody's saying. We take their feedback into consideration and are constantly trying to improve the product.
The main difference with these alternative search engines is probably going to be the results. They might not be as good as Google's. They also might not be as personalized for you. But if you're looking to put a little distance between you and big tech, this could be the first step in the right direction. If you want links to any of these privacy-centric search engines, you can go to my website. It is richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro. More Rich on Tech Weekly coming your way right after this. We'll be right back with more Rich on Tech Weekly. Welcome back to Rich on Tech Weekly. Here's what's happening in the tech world. Just as we're getting used to the idea of 5G, there's already talk of 6G. Qualcomm says the next generation of wireless could start rolling out in a few years. The company announced a new industry coalition at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, with partners including Google, Samsung, Microsoft, and T-Mobile. The group says it's already working on a roadmap to bring 6G networks online around 2029. 6G is being designed as AI native, which means not only will it have faster wireless speeds, but also artificial intelligence built directly into the network to direct traffic, resolve outages faster, and more. A new investigation finds that Meta's smart glasses might raise some new privacy concerns. Reporters at 2 Swedish newspapers found video and voice data from the glasses can be reviewed by human workers who help train the AI systems. And some of those workers say they've seen extremely private moments, including people undressing and using the bathroom. The glasses don't record all the time, but they can capture video when you press a button or ask AI a question. Privacy experts say users might not realize how data is processed behind the scenes. And finally, Apple's $599 MacBook Neo is getting a lot of attention, but some users are wondering what Apple left out to get the price so low. For starters, the base model does not include Touch ID, so unless you pay an extra $100, you'll be typing passwords instead of using your fingerprint. There's also no backlit keyboard, no fast charging, and no option to upgrade beyond 8 gigabytes of RAM. But even with all of those trade-offs, many in the industry say that the Neo is going to put a lot of pressure on inexpensive Windows laptops, because for the first time, you can get a brand new Mac laptop and arguably a better experience in that same price range. People are wondering about the capabilities of the MacBook Neo. I say think about it as an iPhone, but with a keyboard and a big screen. Pretty much anything you can do on your phone, whether that's checking your email, surfing the web, watching videos, light editing of photos and videos, you can accomplish all of that on the MacBook Neo. If you want to see my hands-on, you can go to my website, richontech.tv. That's it for now. See you next week for another Rich on Tech Weekly.